Oh wait,
Okay. Okay. That's everybody. I'm videotaping, thank you.
oh sorry.
Good evening and welcome. We've come together to pay tribute to a man whom I dearly love, one I consider to be a kindred spirit, a man I'm honored to call my brother, Chris Calhoun. Chris is the type of guy who went to work every day, did his best at his job, and to befriend everyone that worked with him. For as long as I've known him, Chris has taken what comes his way in stride, the good and the bad. And trust me, he's had more than his fair share of the bad. Did he let this stuff beat him down? No, he just kept chipping away. I watched him over the years as a sister, wanting to rescue him from the battles he was waging, without being able to throw him even a life preserver. As the war in his life raged on, I had no idea that one day he had met the one who would change everything for him. He had quietly bowed his head and asked Jesus Christ to come in, live in his heart. From that point on, he trusted Christ alone for his eternal life, and he changed forever his outlook by possessing the knowledge that he has a place in heaven and that no one can take it away from him. Tonight I want to celebrate the man who has raised his 2 children from toddlers to adulthood as a single dad, with the constant guidance and supervision of my mom and dad close by whenever he needed help, and the many prayers, I'm sure, from everyone who knew my mother. As children, we had the best of times traveling to my grandparents' farm in Hammersley Fork. The funniest story I can remember from my childhood is one of Chris, no more than 3 or 4 years old. We had been visiting down at the pig pen over the side of the mountain, checking out the baby pigs. All of a sudden, there was a huge ruckus behind us as we walked up over the path to the house from the barn. When we turned to see what it was, little Chris was running fast as his little legs could carry him, face beet red, pants falling half off, but that didn't deter the speed at which he ran. No, and the screaming was not coming from Chris. No, he was huffing and puffing too hard to scream. The screaming and the squealing was coming from the baby pig who was hot on his heels, chasing him every step of the way. Certainly the grown-ups were in shock at the sight of this horrendous spectacle, because no one was jumping in to save him from certain death by pig mauling. Then they began to laugh hysterically. Poor Chris. He was probably traumatized for life from this one incident. Alas, the baby pig could not overcome him and attack as I had envisioned it would happen. Grandma did step in and chase the baby piglet back to the pig pen, where he went happily squealing all the way. Poor Chris, I'll never forget that dirty, sweat-streaked face, puffing away, running madly to reach the top of the hill in safety. It must have seemed like this incident set the tone for the rest of his days. As a teen, he enjoyed hunting and fishing with our dad, and I remember snowy November mornings as they would suit up and head out for the day. We had other wonderful memories as kids, picking strawberries in June with Grandma Hazel and Grandpa Jerry and my mom's 5 younger siblings, the jelly making that would restock the pantry for shelves for both families, the winter sled riding with our beloved St. Bernard Brutus. He would joyfully ride the toboggan to the bottom of the hill and then dutifully carry it back up to the top. Chris loved to pick up critters, keep them for later. One day on the way home from school, Chris found a den of baby field snakes, and he added them to his empty lunch kit. I can remember screaming, "No, stop, don't open that box," just before my mom flipped the switch on the top of the box to open it. I don't even want to think of what she would have done to us had she opened that lunch kit. Chris and I had wonderful vacations with my mom and dad to historical places around the country. Dad would take us for long walks, showing us how to mark trails, pick out landmarks, and find our way by the position of the sun. He would drive golf balls from one hill to the other side, and Chris and I would have competitions on who would get the most golf balls gathered up so Dad could get all his golf balls back. Perhaps this is where Chris developed his love of the golf game. Eventually, he became quite good at golfing, surpassing even my dad's skill at the game. I figured this was just a natural rite of passage for the Scotsmen that they are, developing a love of game and competition. Chris's dedication to providing for his family as a welder eventually took its toll on his health. The toxic fumes and harsh work conditions promoted emphysema to set into his lungs, little by little robbing him of his capacity to breathe and work at a job. Did he let this rob him of his life? No. By seeking a master who lived within his heart, Chris found that he could still lead a meaningful life. Now, with his oxygen tank in hand, he drives to the church, ushers people to their seats, answers the phone, and prays with those in need. He lends a humble heart and a gentle ear to those in need of Christ's love, doing what he can to give a little something back. Because he believes, because he has faith, because he took a moment to humble himself, bow his head in prayer, and ask the Lord of Lords into his humble heart, that of a Pennsylvanian welder, single dad, a son, and a brother. For my brother, whom I've always loved and cherished, I want to tell you that each day I have thanked our sweet Jesus for your life and for your salvation. You are the best brother a girl could ever have. Thank you. Okay, that's everybody. Okay.